Hi, my name is Austin Leishman, and this is a strategic analysis of Flowserve. To give a little context about the company, the origins of Flowserve date back to the 1790s. In 1790, this founding of Simpson and Thompson by Thomas Simpson um, would eventually become, as a company, Worthington Simpson Pumps. And much further down the road, in the middle of the 20th century, those companies became part of a conglomerate known as BWIP. The company was originally Flowserve, created in 1997, with the merger of two control companies, namely BWIP and Durco International, which was another industry heavyweight and a company that had been around for a very long time. Flowserve is headquartered in Irving, Texas, and they have over 18,000 employees in 55 different countries. In terms of Flowserve's products and services, they are generally a supplier of environmental and industrial equipment. They have an extensive product portfolio, but their primary products are industrial pumps, valves, mechanical seals, and other products and services that are sold to gas, oil, power, and fossil fuel industries. They also sell products and offer aftermarket services to engineering and construction firms, original equipment manufacturers and distributors and end users. As such, Flowserve is considered a national industry leader, and we'll talk more about how they compare to their industry, but they have a really interesting product portfolio, and we'll get more into that as well. In terms of their market position, Flowserve is part of an incredibly fragmented industry. It's pretty saturated. They have a lot of competitors, and that competition is generally driven by distribution-related features like delivery times, salesperson expertise, price, breadth of product offerings, contractual terms, and things like that. As mentioned, they have a lot of different competitors, but the primary competitors that we're going to compare Flowserve to today are Emerson, ITT, and Crane Co. Per CSImarket.com, Flowserve is currently the fourth largest supplier of industrial and environmental goods in the world. So a lot of good things, a lot of interesting things that we can build on here. But let's talk more about their business level strategy. Flowserve definitely opts to differentiate themselves from their competition. They employ a differentiation strategy. And probably their real ringer here is offering a wide product range. They have an extensive product portfolio. They offer a variety of different services. And quite simply, when compared to their competitors, they're absolutely an industry leader in how many different products they offer. And that's really what differentiates them from other industrial and environmental good companies. The products and services themselves that Flowserve offers and sells aren't necessarily unique. They're not necessarily groundbreaking, and they're not always innovative, and we'll talk more about that. But the sheer breadth of the product offerings and lines is something that's kind of unmatched in their industry. We wanted to take a look at a couple of different key financial metrics and indicators, starting with a historical stock evaluation. And obviously this is visible here, but we thought it was really interesting seeing how adversely the environmental and industrial good industry had been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. As we can see, they in the beginning of 2020, Flowserve had a relatively normal fluctuation in terms of their stock price. And end of March, beginning of April, we can see a meteoric, catastrophic drop in stock price, where it dropped over 50%. And while the industry itself didn't suffer as badly, everyone is kind of gradually on a recovering slope. So things are looking up, and as the vaccine for COVID-19 continues to roll out, I would anticipate that they are able to recover well here. But it's going to be interesting to see what exactly that looks like. In terms of market cap, we looked at a lot of different companies, around 55 different competitors actually. And in comparison to their three main competitors, we can see that Flowserve isn't necessarily the leader, but they're not at the back of the pack either. So between Flowserve, Emerson Electric, and ITT and Crane, we can see that Emerson Electric holds 60% of the market share shared between the three or four companies, excuse me. Emerson, or Flowserve, comes in at second with 20.3%, followed closely by ITT and Crane. There's a couple of takeaways here. One, they enjoy, being an industry leader, certainly, at 20.3% out of the four companies. That's significant. Two, there's a lot of opportunity to innovate and pull market share from Emerson. And we'll talk more about ways we think that Flowserve can take advantage of that. But we wanted to take a look at market cap, and we thought it was a pretty interesting takeaway here. These numbers, by the way, are as of Q3 2020. For our final metric, we wanted to look at market share comparisons between Flowserve and the entire industry in the pump segment. And the reason we wanted to analyze how they compare to the entire industry instead of just their three main competitors is because Flowserve markets itself as the industry leader in pumps and industrial and environmental equipment related to pump production. And we wanted to see if, they could walk the talk and back it up. And we're happy to announce that out of 54 or 55 different competitors, Flowserve holding a 7% market share indicates that they do very well carry a heavy stick in terms of their pump segment. And it's really good that that Flowserve understands this and leans into this. And we'll kind of talk more about their different products as we go through here. There are a lot of environmental factors that are currently affecting the environmental and industrial good industry, but we wanted to take a look at several specific ones, namely technological change, obviously manufacturing techniques. Techniques of any variety are becoming more automated, becoming more advanced as technology advances, and Flowserve's and the industry enjoy talented research and development teams independently and as conglomerates that help produce manufacturing methods that are really efficient. So Flowserve definitely enjoys of that. As we saw previously, there are adverse economic conditions and globally, but specifically in the industry, that are making it really difficult for companies to find financial success. And around the world, there's it's a cultural shift to where, more individuals are interested in renewable sources of energy, And as our environment kind of grows to reflect that, Flowserve and its competitors need to be willing to find ways to innovate and create products in new industries, namely the renewable energy industry, and really find ways to differentiate themselves there. Again, as mentioned previously, there are a lot of global competitive forces. The market itself is extremely fragmented, it's extremely saturated, and as ways to conduct e-commerce, facilitate lower barriers of entry to newcomers, Flowserve and its competitors are going to have to find ways to continue innovating and separating themselves from those newcomers if they want to stay successful. In terms of political, legal, and regulatory forces, there's a new presidential administration in the United States whose objectives and goals might be different than the presidential administration of the past. Namely, President Biden's administration has promised or is looking to lean in heavily to investing in and enabling the renewable energy industry. And as Flowserve and its competitors' clients are mostly members of the non-renewable energy industries, They're going to have to find ways to really, stretch their legs and find ways to market to that new industry. And social and cultural forces really tie into this. As the general public becomes more interested in renewable energy, the expectation is that companies that provide products for these industries are going to also, shift and find ways to establish themselves there. There are a lot of external threats and opportunities here, but we wanted to focus on 4 primary threats and opportunities. The 2 most important threats we saw were potential legislation that restricts Flowserve's client industry and durational COVID challenges. As mentioned previously, a new presidential administration in the United States has promised to really lean into the renewable energy industry. And currently, Flowserve's main clients are gas and fossil fuel companies. And as that shift occurs, Flowserve is going to need to really adapt. Again, there are durational COVID-19 challenges that are affecting both externally and internally. But there are a lot of opportunities. There are a lot of emerging markets around the world as companies become more established. They're going to look for companies that are going to facilitate manufacturing and production of natural resources, and Flowserve is well poised to take advantage of that. In kind of a double-edged sword way, the advent of these new renewable energy companies and industries is going to provide Flowserve with opportunities to create a lot of new products. And, that might not look like pumps or valves or whatever it may be, but if Flowserve can pay attention to how the environmental shift occurs and how renewable energy becomes the new focus, they can really take advantage of providing new products for that industry. In terms of an internal analysis, we conducted a VRIO analysis, and we wanted to take a look at a couple of different resources that Flowserve has and identify which ones could help it both overcome and advance through the threats and take advantage of the opportunities. And 4 really valuable resources that we found, as shown here, are Flowserve's distribution channels, its diverse product portfolio, its extensive intellectual property and patent, which ties into a little bit of the brand image and history. Flowserve enjoys a established and effective distribution channel system with hundreds and thousands of vendors around the world. As mentioned previously, they differentiate themselves from their industry with a extremely diverse product portfolio. And as they continue to diversify that portfolio in terms of new industries like the renewable energy industry, they're going to continue finding success. And, I think more than anything, they enjoy the heritage of being a company that's seen the Industrial Revolution and Modern Revolution and the digitization of e-commerce. And I think they can rely on that heritage to continue adapting and innovating and being a industry force well into the 21st and 22nd centuries. A couple of unique insights that I found personally was that that industry overall is in a really severe recovery mode, maybe more so than I'd anticipated. Additionally, I had no idea how saturated that market was. I just kind of assumed that industry had a couple of 3 or 4 heavy hitters and that was it, but that was not the case. And something else I saw is that, the heavyweights, those heavy hitters that do exist, they really need to continually innovate to separate themselves. And that's part of our recommendation for Flowserve, is that they continue investing and innovating in that emerging renewable energy industry. It might not be coming as quickly as we think it is, but I think it is the future. And I think if Flowserve can get its foot in the door, it's going to find a lot of ways to be successful well into the future and past what we can currently see. So this was my strategic analysis of Flowserve, and thank you so much for your time.